Hi everyone, welcome back to Your Homeopathy, Health is Wealth. I'm very excited to have Rosanna over today with us. She has an amazing story to tell, so stay tuned. Hi Rosanna.
Hey Sheena, thank you for having me today.
My pleasure entirely. You have an amazing story to tell us. So talk to me, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a mother of 3 children, wonderful children. I was married to a wonderful man for 25 years. We have 5 grandchildren. Of course, he'd never seen them because he had passed away in 9/11, unfortunately. And years later, I had met a wonderful man who now is my significant other, and he had saved my life. And that is why I'm here to share that story with all of you.
Tell me what happened.
Okay. July of 2023, I had, we were ready for bed, and I had some heart palpitations, but that seemed normal for me because I have mitral valve prolapse.
Okay.
And so I woke up, I got out of bed, and I went into the living room, and a few minutes later, Ken followed me, and he asked me what was going on. And I says, I explained to him. He goes, oh, so he calmed me down, went to sleep, no problem. An hour later, I obviously things happened to me because I have no memory recollection. So I'm telling you the rest of the story from my family.
Okay.
He heard me gush out a big breath, and he jumped out of bed and went around the bed, only to grab me, and I had literally collapsed in his arms and knew I was gone. So he called 911 right away. And the medics had on the phone, were on their way. In the meantime, they were guiding him how to resuscitate me.
Okay.
So they were doing CPR on me for quite a few minutes. I mean, by the time they got there and the call, we calculated about maybe 10, 11 minutes.
So 10, 11 minutes, you were technically not there anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't there anymore.
You were not breathing. There was no heartbeat. There was nothing.
No.
So you had crossed over.
But he was giving me his own air.
Right.
Which really saved me. So the medics came. They defibrillated me with the defibrillator, and they found a heartbeat, and they rushed me to the hospital. So at that point, they put me under the breathalyzer.
Okay.
Not the breathalyzer,
they put the tubes for your breathing.
Yes. Why can't I remember that? I always, it's like something I don't like to talk about. Right. But anyway, they put the tube down me to breathe, and for 24, maybe 25 hours, the following day, they saw that I was coming to. So they removed the tube to breathe on my own. And they found nothing. They did all kinds of tests on me. So apparently I was in the hospital for about 5 days, 6 days.
Okay.
And on then after 10, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. I went home after 5, 6 days, and I don't have any memory of that.
You don't remember anything at all?
I don't have any memory from the time I was in the hospital to the time I woke up to the time I got home. So from July 20 to July 14th, 10 days. And on July 24th, I remember that day because I was home. I remember I was fine, and telling my children about what I remember.
Okay.
When I was not here.
What do you remember?
And what came to me was I remember the feeling of elation. And I remember my husband, who had passed, was right here by me. It was so strong. And I remember seeing beings, and they weren't in their bodies. They were just beings. And the love and the giddiness, and all I did was laugh. Like, wow, this is like, what the heck is this? It's like this. I don't even think I even said that. I was just like so happy to be there. And the most prominent being was my dad. And I remember he was from afar. He just turned around. He kept looking at me with his beautiful smile. And I knew the others that were there that didn't shine in with him, but I knew that my mom was there, and I knew my aunt was there. And it was just, I had no thoughts. I wasn't in a body. I remembered that didn't even concern me. I wasn't thinking about my children. No one. Just being there. And then his voice, you have to go back. And that was my husband telling me, you have to go back.
Well, let me ask you, so at that point, this awareness you had of these people surrounding you, they were all your family?
They were families and friends, whoever they were. I known them. I knew them.
Were they all like they had passed on?
Every one of them.
Okay, so
I wasn't in anyone that was here today.
Okay, so you experienced all those
souls,
you want to say
beings,
souls or their energies of
energy.
The ones that they had that had passed on.
Yes.
Not nobody that was not passed on was there.
No.
Okay.
No.
And you were happy to be there?
I was elated. I was so excited. I was like, and laughing, like, really? Oh my God. And then the voice was my husband telling me, you have to go back. And I was like, go back? I says, I'm looking for my mother-in-law, which was his mom.
Were you close to her?
And I was looking for her.
Were you close to her?
I'm sorry?
Were you close to her?
Yeah. I love my mother-in-law. She was a wonderful woman. Okay. And I was looking, and again, my father smiled over to me, looking at me from here, and he's looking up at me. And then I moved to the left, and I saw another being, and it was very quiet. Mm-hmm. And then it took a few minutes to register who it was, and that was my brother Tom, who had passed away a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I knew in my heart, I said, he's new, and he's just getting the whole thing right now. So he's probably like what I'm feeling, but he's not showing it to me. I don't know. And then that was so amazing. The love, the power of I really can't explain it other than it was so low. But then my husband said again, you have to go back. It was like, lights out, clap your hands, lights out. That's exactly what it was. But I don't recall waking up. I don't recall coming to the hospital. I don't recall anything other than on 10 days later, being home from the hospital, my family members were telling me what happened, what Ken experienced.
So all you remember is you experiencing these energies or souls that you knew that were your family from those who had passed.
Exactly.
Do you remember being in any pain? Do you remember gasping? Do you remember anything at all? Nothing. So from that minute that you took your last breath, you didn't remember anything. And then all you remember is this experience of being surrounded
by my loved ones.
And then your husband said that you had to go back.
Twice. And by the second time, it was lights out.
And then you had to come back.
And from that point on, I did a lot of trying to understand what was I here for? Why did I have to come back? Like, why did this happen? You ask all those questions. But I know ultimately I'm looking forward to going back. That's for sure. But not in a way where you think I'm ready to go. No, I know we discussed this. No, it's not that at all.
Okay.
In fact, the kids, but the one thing I have to tell you the story was when I came to in the hospital from what my son and had shared with me and my children was when I came to, the first thing I said, and even Ken, he said, Rosanna, the first thing that came out of your mouth was, where's my father? And they were telling me, Dad passed. So unfortunately, I was a very bad patient.
Okay.
Because you were so adamant about, no, there's no way. He's here. I know he's here. Go get me I was trying to get whoever had to give me an answer. I don't know who it was. And then my son called me and says, Ma, listen to me. Calm me down. He said, Dad passed. Grandpa died before I was born. And he's right. My father died in 88, March of 88. And I conceived my son in March of 88.
So they must have thought that you're just delirious.
They thought, they were concerned about that. So it took a few days for them to realize that I was getting better and I wasn't losing my mind. But I became quiet after that. After he said that to me, I guess I realized that Dad did pass. And what is it's going on? But see, I don't remember. I get so frustrated. I can't remember how I felt when I came to. I bothered me. It bothered me for a long time. And I prayed on it and I just found my way. I cried a lot, but I don't know what the tears were. I think the tears were more for that I put my family through that fear after they lost their father that way in a traumatic way. Or his was more traumatic. But, and that's it, other than why I'm here with you to help me be in the Zen mode again. And know that I can't go back yet, but I have to figure out why I'm here.
Okay, so that will be our second part of the show.
Okay, I like that.
And this way we will experience the whole reason why you're
Yeah.
here. Well,
Thank you.
thank you for being here.
Thank
I
you
look
for having me.
forward
Thank
to
you.
doing the second part, and we'll talk in more detail about that.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
watching. Health is wealth. Stay well naturally. Like, follow, and subscribe, and keep watching Your Homeopathy.